So, good afternoon to everyone. Can somebody confirm that I'm audible? Okay. So, good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to this webinar. This webinar is on the development of stations cum commercial complex on public-private partnership model in Uttar Pradesh. So, this is a very interesting and exciting opportunity, and we have the top management of Uttar Pradesh today with us in the webinar. And without further ado, let me first welcome Dr. Raj Shekhar, who is the Managing Director of UPSRTC, to give us his address and his words.
Thank you, Rajaji, and I would like to welcome all the participants, and our Honorable Principal Secretary sir is with us, and almost 34 participants have joined right now. Again, the purpose behind this particular webinar, as you know, in the last 3 months, because of the COVID, many things have drastically changed, and maybe the things are uncertain in coming days also. Maybe in next few months, things could come to normal, or things might change drastically as they have been in the last 3 months. But I would like to convey from the point of view of the UPSRTC, the commitment of the UPSRTC, or the stand of the UPSRTC on development of these 23 bus stations on PPP mode. It's same as it was before the start of lockdown period. And because of that, in the first page, we have uploaded the details of the 17 projects on which in the first page we are taking. And for the second, once all the first page these sites are decided, we would take a conscious decision for the second phase also. And as a representative of the government and guiding us continuously since almost 1.5 years during this PPP project, PST sir is also with us. And another viewpoint is just to convey the stand of the UPSRTC and also the viewpoint of the Uttar Pradesh government on these ongoing PPP projects. Secondly, through this webinar, we would like to know the standpoint and the viewpoint and also the suggestions from all the interested investors or those who are participating in this today's webinar, so that based on your inputs and your suggestions, we could take further decisions how to go about this. If we need some major changes, major modifications, so we may accordingly bring those things on the record, and we would accordingly move that to the government to take a decision on the appropriate ones.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So as the MD has pointed out, there is absolutely no, there is a full expectation that the progress and the momentum of this particular opportunity will continue as is from the government's perspective. I will now request that the video of the Principal Secretary Transport, Shri Rajesh Kumar Singh, is played, please.
Fast pace of urbanization has fueled the demand for urban mobility, which in turn triggered capital-intensive and large-scale projects to be implemented under public-private partnership format in India. The mission to increase connectivity within the state and the neighboring states has already been underway with the construction of expressways along the length and breadth of the state. In order to achieve safe, secure, and efficient travel, the infrastructure development for passengers traveling by buses has been accorded high priority by the state, and in this context, the state bus carrier Uttar Pradesh State Road Transport Corporation is undergoing metamorphosis by developing its bus terminal on the PPP mode. Based on learning from the previous transactions, this project constitutes a robust mechanism considering all aspects of the transaction. Moreover, the project agreement is carefully augmented, catering to the feedback and responses from the developers and stakeholders. The government of Uttar Pradesh has always seen this project as an important milestone for the state and is committed to extend all desired support for its execution. Aligning ourselves with the vision of Honorable Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, I believe that this is a great opportunity for all of us to stand a better position post the current scenario, and we believe that this project will surely play a significant role towards this objective. Since travel is an essential part of our routine, improving this travel experience is the main focal point of this project. Modernization of the bus terminal will enhance the travel experience of the passengers and at the same time will provide a positive impact on society, escalate the ridership and footfall, and will increase the commercial attractiveness of the area. In all, this project is envisaged to be valuable for the public, developers, and the authority. I assure all the potential investors for this project my wholehearted support during and after the implementation of this project. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for that address. And what we have seen in this COVID scenario is that the invent of digital has really gone up, and it is the public transport sector is not something that is untouched. And there are many initiatives which will come up in the future, which will actually make public transport and the ability to transport in a safe manner much possible with the advent of technology. Now, I will request if the video of the infrastructure and if the audio of the Infrastructure and Industrial Development Commissioner, Shri Alok Tandon, can be played, please.
Uttar Pradesh is the largest state of India in terms of population and fifth largest in area. Endowed with a wealth of vast natural resources and demographic dividend, there is enormous potential of investment in infrastructure and industrial development. Government of Uttar Pradesh has embarked upon a comprehensive plan to unlock the full potential of the state as the most preferred destination of investment by enabling high-end infrastructure and industrial development. With globalization of the Indian economy, I believe industry-driven inclusive socio-economic growth is imperative for creation of employment and better quality of life. Under the Industrial and Infrastructure Investment Policy 2012, among others, construction of roads, highways and expressways, improvement of infrastructure and transportation have been earmarked as priority areas. The progress is clearly visible with implementation of various infrastructure initiatives like the world-class expressways spanning more than 1,800 kilometers across length and breadth of the state, the national waterways connecting UP to the world through Haldia Port, and the upcoming Jewar Airport. This gives a clear signal of potential that the state offers. Under this ambit, modernization of the bus terminals of UPSRTC on PPP mode is one such pivotal project for the state's development that is going to provide world-class amenities to the passengers and improving their travel experience. The project will provide impetus to socio-economic development of the region and the state. The PPP documents have been drafted, taking inputs from all stakeholders and developers, and I personally believe that the dividends from this project would be mutually beneficial for all stakeholders, as better transport infrastructure will induce travel demand and footfall and increase the commercial attractivity of the project. Visualizing this project as a part of growth of infrastructure in the state will make this opportunity viable and economical. I am sure that this project will be implemented in the state in the best possible manner, and all the relevant organs of the state government will put in their level best to ensure that no bottlenecks affects this project adversely.
Thank you. We as Ernst & Young have been transaction advisors to UPSRTC, and what I wanted to share is that we have had guidance from the top levels of government. We have had guidance from the Chief Secretary as well. And now I request if the video of the Chief Secretary, Shri Rajendra Kumar Tiwari, can be played, please.
state of Uttar Pradesh is in a very unique and advantageous position to attract investments, to promote business, and to give employment to largest ever number of people in the state. During last 3 months of COVID pandemic, the state has faced the challenge in a very effective manner under the leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Yogi Adityanath Ji. The state has taken many initiatives to promote investment, investor-friendly policies in the area of industrial development, food processing, logistics, electronics and communication, and agro-based industries have been introduced, which are one of the best policies in the country. The state has set up a very effective mechanism to facilitate the business and the investors. This is likely to give a major impetus to the transport sector in the state also. We expect that the road transport would increase at a very high pace thanks to our major investments in the road infrastructure sector. The state has built many expressways and is in the process of building more than 300 kilometers long Purvanchal Expressway. We have also taken up Bundelkhand Expressway, which connects the entire area of the Bundelkhand to the western part of Uttar Pradesh and to New Delhi. A very ambitious project of Ganga Expressway has also been taken up. Besides that, many highways and roads have been developed. This all is going to give a significant increase in the number of people who will be traveling on roads. And this would require more investment in infrastructure, including bus stations. The government has come out with a very investor-friendly policy of promoting public-private partnership in creating state-of-the-art modern bus stations which would have all the facilities that the passengers would require. They will also be a good combination of the service provision and the other business and commercial activities which will make it most viable. The documents have already been placed in public domain, and we are inviting investors in the country as well as from all over the world to come and participate and share the prosperity that will accrue to the state as well as all the investors. So a big welcome to all the investors from the state government. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think the Chief Secretary has said it very well, that when there is a lot of investment in expressways, the public transport and facilities available to passengers in the form of modern bus stations will complement all that investment. Now, I'll go ahead and give a presentation on the key parameters and the process of submission of this bid. I'm just going to project my screen. Can someone confirm whether you're able to see it? Okay, right. So first, before I get into the presentation itself, let me share a few points that the documents have been prepared after a very rigorous process. So 2 pre-bid meetings were held in which the various bidders gave suggestions on the document that were available. And there have been very intensive deliberations within top levels of government in the Uttar Pradesh to look at the pros and cons of what the bidders have asked for, and the outcome document which have been put up in public domain is a result of that, in which each and every point has been thought through, considered, and whatever is beneficial for this bid process to happen, to become a success from a developer's perspective, has been incorporated in the bid documents. So now I will take you through the presentation. So the bidding schedule. The first thing is that the documents were uploaded on 19/3/2020, and the bid submission date as it stands right now is on 30th of June at 3 p.m. and the technical bill will be opened in half an hour post that. So if there are any extensions that need to come out and the latest timelines, we will intimate it subsequently. What are the major highlights in the document? So these are some of the major highlights. So the first is the reduction in the annual concession fee. So this was something that all the developers asked very explicitly in both the pre-biddings. There have also been representations which came out in writing. So therefore, as compared to the previous rounds of bidding that has happened, the ACF has been reduced. The second request was that during the construction period, there should be no payment of the annual concession fee, and therefore this has been waived during the construction period. So only when it becomes commercially operational, the ACF will start applying. The earlier construct was that the developer had to have equity participation in the project right now. That has been waived. So in line with the other guidelines of Planning Commission, 5 years post the commercial operation date of the commercial complex, the initial developer can actually dilute their equity stake in the project. So this would be a good step for people who want to invest, construct the project, and then move on after it has come into the operational stage. For the property tax, there has been a very clear directive given for that. As far as bus terminal area is concerned, the property tax will be borne by the authority. The developer is only responsible to pay the property tax of the commercial complex. There were requests that the ambit of people who can participate should be increased, and therefore certain other sectors like power and mining, as well as power and mining, have been added. There was also a request that multi-level car parking kind of experience should also be allowed, and that has been allowed under the transport sector. The independent engineer, the tenure of the independent engineer was actually covering both the construction and the operations space. There was a request again from various developers saying that the independent engineer's role is not required in the operations phase, and therefore the tenure has been now reduced to only 2 years post the COD of the commercial complex. The facilities that need to be developed are actually in 2 distinct categories, and enough avenues have been created so that the concessionaire and the developer can actually generate revenues from the bus terminal. So I'll just show you here that these are the first column. What you see are certain compulsory facilities which are required for anybody who uses the terminal, which is very logical. If you can see here, which is a passenger waiting hall, and there are urinals and toilets, etc. The water coolers. These are facilities that are bare minimum required for passengers. But there are facilities which can actually be monetized by the developer, and that have been very clearly and unambiguously written for the benefit of developers, so that they can make plans of how they can actually monetize the revenues from the bus terminal. And this is very explicitly written in the bid documents. Now coming back, there has been a deliberation saying that how will the developer do construction, because the bus operations are going on, and therefore a very clear discussion and decision has been taken by UPSRTC that the site will be given unencumbered, so that the construction activity can go on smoothly without any disturbance. An alternative site will be identified by UPSRTC to do the bus operations, except for 2 sites, which is in Amausi and Ghaziabad. But in all the other sites, the construction activity can go unencumbered without any kind of interference from bus operations because those will be shifted to a different location. The last point is about the clarity in security provisions. There was a lot of developers who said that what is the ambit of our security responsibility, and that has been now unambiguously written in the RFP documents on what falls under the domain of UPSRTC and what falls under the domain of the developer. So this has been complete clarity has been brought to that, and the construction period on the appointed date is the date on which the condition precedents are adequate time is available so that developers can financial closure. So there are many other points which you can go through in the RFP. These are some of the key highlights. And as I said, there were more than 300 questions that were received from the developers, and the top levels of the UP government have deliberated on each and every point and taken a decision which will make this transaction conducive. Here is an illustration of how the bidding process will happen. Now, as in December, is that using a network a developer has, they can actually maximize their participation in multiple bus terminals. And this has been enabled so that there can be multiple bus stations that a developer can take up. So if you see here, what it basically says is that the bids, when they are, because the bids are all happening in one go, they will be opened in the decreasing order of the estimated cost of construction, which says that if there is a project at site X whose estimated cost is 200, in the document there is a minimum worth to participate in that project, which is at 30% of the estimated cost of the project. So therefore, the net worth for this particular project in the illustration is 60 crores. Now let us say that a developer has a net worth of 100 crores. Now, if the developer is actually successful in getting the site X, then from which is the net developer, crores will be deducted. Process. Now, the bid submission process, to save time, to make it a less cumbersome bureaucratic process, the government has taken a decision to merge the RFQ as well as the RFP process into one process. So all the documents just need to be submitted in one shot, and then the evaluation will happen together. So there is a physical submission which is offline, and there is also an online submission. So what I want to make very, very clear is that the RFQ document is just one document, and it is applicable for all the sites that are up for bidding. But for the individual sites, the RFPs are separate because the sites sizes are different. The estimated project costs are different. For each site, the bids are to be separate. So if I were to explain this, there will be one large envelope. Inside it, there will be two envelopes. One envelope will be the RFQ document, which will have the document fees. It will have the bid security. It will also have the application. And then there will be another bundle and another envelope, which is the RFP submissions, which are actual submissions that the developer is interested in. So on the right-hand side of the slide, if there is an illustration that a bidder is actually interested in 3 sites, then in the offline submission, there will be a single RFQ submission. And in the second, so inside the larger envelope, there will be one envelope, which is just the RFQ. The second envelope will have 3 separate RFP envelopes, which will be for the 3 sites that the bidder is interested in. But in the online submission, I just wanted to point this out so that there's no confusion in the minds of the bidders, that the RFQ is actually repeated across each bid. So if you actually go to the tender website, you will actually find separate instances for each. But please, on the RFQ side, you have to actually upload the same document. There is no difference in that, because in the physical process, there is one RFQ document. It's just that the way the IT system is defined, you will have to upload that document every time. But the RFP is unique for each and every different site. So in the online submission, the same RFQ document needs to be uploaded for each instance, but the RFP document will be different. So that's something that I just want wanted to clearly state. Some of the other important details is that if in case developers wants to get more information, again, a very conscious decision has been taken to by UPSRTC to actually share maximum available data with all developers so that you can take a very considered and a very, very researched decision. So you can go to UPSRTC site and video of the current mapping that you can have a way the RFP, RFQ and the concession agreement document which have been approved by the highest levels in the UP government has also been uploaded. So all these documents are there and even as answered in full detail so that you have absolute clarity on what the outlook of the government is. So on the steps to download the bid document, this is through the site of etender.un, and under that, if you actually go to the organization of UP State Road Transport Corporation, you can see that there are multiple bids for the development of bus terminals on PPP for various sites, and in each one of those you will find all the relevant documents. Find all the data for the Chief General Manager Technical, General Manager PN ID, Executive Engineer West and Executive Engineer East. The numbers have been provided here, and you want to visit the site, do so, and it will be facilitated. For the please cpp.busstationup2017@gmail.com by today. So, so that brings me to the end of this presentation. I will now request the Principal Secretary to please share a few of his words and direction. I'm just stopping sharing my screen. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
Hold on, sir. Your voice is not coming through. Voice is not coming, please. Voice is not coming. Hello? Voice is not coming through. Voice is not coming through.
For a lot many good things, be it, creating an environment here for investment through investor summit and subsequent, groundbreaking, etc. And post pandemic, the management of pandemic itself, the efforts of UP government has been hailed and lauded by one and all. Let me share with my audience one thing. UP has emerged as the most attractive, people say one of the most attractive investment destinations. I would say it is the most attractive destinations, investment destinations in the country as of now. And there are plenty of reasons for that. I would like to highlight, be it ease of starting the business, be it ease of doing the business, the hand holding that the entire bureaucracy or the political leadership does here in UP. It has all made UP a very unique place for investment decisions and investment intents. I can share because I have come to transport department from industrial development department, and we can boast of lot many policies which we have formulated that are unique and positions UP in a very, very different bracket altogether. I can share with all of you that my Chief Minister, Honorable Adityanath ji, he holds almost daily review meetings
with all his relevant officers on every aspects of development, and that, you know, that keeps the entire bureaucracy at tenterhooks. So delivery is a must. Now coming back to this present project, you know, UP is the only state that can boast of 10, 12 large scale towns where socio-economic profile is very robust, and the rate of activity is beyond a threshold. No other state can boast of. And if you look at the 17 projects that we are talking about, you know, these all projects belong to one or the other such kind of towns that have a threshold level of economic activity, and therefore it's likely to be a win-win situation for all these stakeholders, the investor who would back the project, and people who would be experiencing world-class, you know, transport infrastructure, travel experience. So it's going to be a win-win situation. Now, from the state government, as I said, this is the paramount project as far as a project under PPP is concerned. Perhaps in building construction, it's going to be a unique kind of project. Never before UP has had such kind of project. So everybody would be keen to observe and make sure that this becomes a success. The state government has commitment of Chief Secretary, IIDC, other relevant officials that you have just come across in their speeches. I personally assure you that I will provide personal handholding as and when you require, and should there be a need to escalate any matter to the level of even Chief Minister, we will not leave any stone unturned. Once again, I wish all the best to all the participants, and I hope that in coming days, a good forging would be developed between the state government and some of you who would be potential winner of the bid. One more thing I would like to say as a, you know, postscript note, that of course, you know, when we had uploaded the tender document, that time the physical situation was different, and post COVID-19 thing, probably, you know, some equations might have got altered. So if there is any suggestion as regards changing of some date frames, etc., time frames, I'll be open to any idea, because in the original tender document, it was envisaged that the bus station would be handed over in 18 months, but probably, you know, post-pandemic, cash flow problem could be there. So we are seized of the situation, and we solicit all the opinion from participants for that. A time frame has been given, it can be uploaded, and we'll respond in most befitting manner. Once again, thank you very much for being with us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for those words and bringing out the position so clearly and lucidly. So I will now bring this webinar to a close. Before I do that, I want to give a vote of thanks. I want to thank the Principal Secretary Transport, Mr. Rajesh Kumar Singh, for his time and for his clear guidance. I want to thank the Infrastructure and Industrial Development Commissioner, Government of Uttar Pradesh, for his support. Definitely the Chief Secretary has been a very, very clear guiding hand in this project, and the sponsorship of the Chief Minister is apparent. So I want to thank Shri Rajendra Kumar Tiwari for all his support and guidance. And last but not the least, I want to thank the MD, Mr. Rajshekhar, who is the captain of the ship, and he has been guiding us from the front. Thanks one and all for having attended this webinar. And as the Principal Secretary said, please do send in your comments and suggestions to the email ID that I had mentioned before. Thank you.